Hey everyone, welcome to the ITGR Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's exciting to finally record the beginning of this show. We're starting off with a bang. I'm joined by cousin Steve.
What's up, everybody?
Go follow him on Twitter at SteveMay21. And I'm also joined by Blue.
What's going on, everybody?
Go follow him on Twitter at IamSports and follow us here on the show on Twitter at the ITGR Show. Let's get to it.
We're also glad to have Jared, the Bills fan, here co-hosting with us. He'll be a regular. And with that, we'll start with this.
Who should be the first overall pick if Bell is suspended?
If Le'Veon Bell is suspended, it's got to be Adrian Peterson. You got to go with the next best running back. He's going to get the ball a lot in Minnesota with Bridgewater at quarterback. That's the guy.
Running back.
No, I'm taking,
running back.
Antonio Brown.
I'm taking Antonio Brown too.
Brown.
Especially
with him suspended.
I think even with Bell not being suspended, I think Brown's the best offensive player in the NFL.
He's good.
I think he's all around the best there is. You're almost guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed to put up 15 to 16 points a week.
But there are also a lot of good receivers. If you can get that one top running back with that first overall pick, you got to do it.
How about you, Jared?
I was going to go Antonio Brown, too. I was thinking Aaron Rodgers, but then I was thinking about the point totals and the way they work with passing yards as opposed to like receiving yards.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, we should probably make it clear it's a PPR league. We are.
Right.
That's
right.
what.
So definitely Brown.
That's what we're going with is a PPR league, not a standard.
Brown
So you're
catches
getting
a lot of passes.
right. So you're getting points per catch. Brown is he is. I think he's the most dynamic player in the NFL. You don't think he is?
He's good.
No, I completely 100% agree, but you got to get if you can get one of those top running backs, you got to get one of them.
Brown's going to lead the league in receptions. I guaranteed.
Maybe even touchdowns and yards.
Peterson,
he can lead it in all.
The next closest running back to Peterson's not going to have that much different
crown.
numbers.
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy.
Peterson's going to lead the league in rushing. He's going to get the touchdowns with that Minnesota offense. When they get into the red zone, the ball's going to Peterson.
I had him last year. He didn't get a lot of touchdowns. He didn't.
Do you feel like you run a bigger injury risk by taking a receiver, by taking a running back first overall than you do a receiver?
No, receivers are almost just as fragile. They're one low hit away from being done.
The same.
Same for a running back.
They are, but I don't think they take as much contact as a running back. Running back's getting hit on every play. Mm-hmm. Every play they're getting hit. Every play they're going at knees. Especially somebody like Adrian Peterson. You can't tackle that guy high.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown's one corner away from tripping him, and his leg could be done too.
I mean, look at Victor Cruz.
Right.
He's been absent for 2 years.
That guy hasn't played in 2 years, pretty much.
So if Bell isn't suspended, let's even say he's suspended for one game. Let's say he just gets one game at the max. Is he worth that first overall pick for you?
He has to. He'll be up there for the league in rushing, and he's gonna catch 50 to 70 balls out of the backfield.
He is gonna catch a lot.
If you're in
a
PPR league, what more could you ask for? And probably, arguably, the best offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You gotta take that first hit.
Gotta take Bell.
Even if he's suspended for 2 games, I'm taking Le'Veon Bell, and I'll bite that bullet.
I'm not doing anything
games.
over 2 though.
2's your max.
If it's 4, then I think he slips down into the bottom of the first round, and then somebody says, you know what, I can take the risk here. I'll take him.
Right.
Yeah. Over 2 games, they're definitely taking Antonio Brown. Just with Martavis Bryant gone, is he gone for the whole year?
Oh yeah, he's gone for I think.
So all the attention goes to
Gone
Brown
for the
anyway.
year.
But now with really, who's your other receiver to throw to? He's getting all
Wheaton.
the throws.
They signed
Wheaton.
Ladarius Green too though.
They did.
He's a tight end.
You know what? And that's a good young tight end.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about the most dynamic, I think Bell is a more dynamic player just because he can how much is Antonio Brown going to run the ball, as opposed to how much is Le'Veon Bell going to catch the ball.
Right.
They have the 2 best, most explosive players in the NFL in their respective positions.
Their
So if you
offense
have
has
the
become better
first
than their
over-
defense.
So if you have the first overall pick this year, it's kind of a good problem to have.
As long as
You're getting one of the 2 most dynamic players.
Right.
Like you're not getting where before you had times where it was a heavy running back league. It'd be the first 6 picks are running back. So it's all about drafting the best running back in the bunch. But
which
here
you never knew which one was gonna be that, so you just went name pretty much. You went Peterson's probably the guy, even though he might not be. So one of the other 5 is probably the better choice.
But I feel like here with these 2 players, I feel like you're comfortable saying that you're picking between the two best fantasy options in football.
If especially if Bell's not suspended for more than 2 games, whoever's picking in the top 3, your first 3 picks is going to be Brown or Bell, Brown, and then Peterson. So the top 3, you're getting the best 3 players. There's no.
Well, that happens in a year.
No, a lot of times you don't.
Yes, you are.
You know those are going to be the 3
guaranteed
top guys. Who would be a better running back than Peterson?
I think Lamar Miller's gonna have a big year.
I am on the Lamar Miller train. Are you on the Lamar Miller train, Jared?
Nope.
No, because like the way I look at it,
That train ain't that train ain't leaving the station.
His last 2 seasons have been better than Le'Veon Bell's last 2 seasons.
No,
look up the stats.
The way
Yes, they
I
have.
look at Miami, they're this team that going into every year. Oh, is this team that can make the jump? Can they make the jump? Can they make the jump? And you'll see them. They'll play great for a handful of games.
Yeah.
But then they'll revert back to like this team that makes a lot of mistakes.
I just feel like
And I feel like Miller's will follow that suit.
I think he was very, very underused in Miami because they had Daniel Thomas. They used a bunch of other. He just wasn't used right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Marshawn Lynch wasn't used right in Buffalo. I kind of think it's the same.
You sure Buffalo didn't just suck?
Lynch was splitting with Fred Jackson. Marshawn Lynch shouldn't be splitting with anybody.
Bill O'Brien runs the ball a lot.
At any point in his
I love
career.
Fred Jackson though.
Yeah, but he is no Lynch. But for Miller, if Lamar Miller's gonna get the same output, the same amount of opportunities that Arian Foster was getting in Houston,
He could put numbers up.
Last year had better numbers.
Lamar
I mean,
Miller
you're
had better
talking-
numbers.
But Bell only
25
played in
touches.
6 games.
Doesn't matter.
Look, talking about the top fantasy options now, it probably ruined my point that Brady's on 4 games. But I think we should probably pay attention to Gronkowski.
Gronk. Well,
Oh yeah.
but does Bennett hurt him or does that help him?
With him not being the only tight end, it'll probably take a couple of his receptions away, touchdowns and everything.
No, I think it helps him.
I think it gives him more.
That's just
I think
more
if
guys
you
to
have that
cover.
guy on the other side.
And you got to cover
But
Edelman.
he'll be an option on every play.
They're both very good.
And you
He'll
got
be
to watch
an option on every play.
Yeah,
Edelman,
it's true.
Amendola, yeah, all types of fucking little.
They do. They
small
have.
guys.
It's gonna be and obviously not the first overall pick. So I guess we'll shy away. I think we answered that. But now, how about we'll go to the most dynamic fantasy player there is. When Tom Brady does come back in Week 4 with those weapons, probably pissed. Is he not probably a top 5 fantasy player?
Yeah,
Yeah, he will be.
I can see him putting up like 36 touchdowns in those 12 games.
Yeah.
I see him
Just a
putting
lot
up
of
36.
I could.
Like 3 a game.
Is this the best offense he's ever had? Is it better than Moss and Welker?
No.
No.
That year they went undefeated is the best offense.
Stalwart,
Obviously,
Moss.
they have
Sick.
aside
Yeah,
from
it was better than the Broncos.
That team was sick.
aside from the 1 year with Moss, they have the exact type of offense they've always had. They're just gonna
Well,
hit
that
you over
offense
the
was
middle
way
and
more
wreck
dynamic,
you.
though.
Their offense isn't dynamic.
It was when they had Randy Moss.
When they had
and
Randy
Logan.
Moss, they
Yeah,
can't.
they still
They
can't
can't
stretch
stretch the field. What they can do though is kill you with the little dink and dunk
Yeah, but
and get you for
I
5,
think
6
the
yards
tight
at a
ends help
time.
that a lot. They're not just gonna dink and dunk.
No,
to the tight
those two
ends.
go down the field.
Yeah,
tight
and those
ends
are
go
big.
fly.
Those
Bennett and
those
Cobb
guys
go down
are.
the
You
field.
can't
Yes,
just
they
put
do.
a corner on them and say, "Here you go, take
Right.
them down."
You got to double or
No,
put a
but
bigger
how
one.
often are they going to send
I think
either
those
one
tight
of
ends
them down
will
the
eat.
field?
Will eat.
They're going to
How down the field are you
They're
talking?
Gonna, I'm talking about
They're
plays
going
over,
15,
I'm talking
20
about
yards.
plays over
15 to
20
yards is what I'm
15
talking
to 20
about.
yards. They'll go
Those
offensive
chunks,
easy.
They could probably do that twice on every drive.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
You're gonna see things like that with those two in the
Two
middle.
monster tight ends.
But the offense still won't. They don't have anybody that can stretch
they
the
don't need.
field.
I don't think they need it.
Yak. That
Right,
is-
that's what, and I'm not saying anything again. I'm saying that's what their offense is. It's not dynamic. It's efficient.
they are the ultimate yak team because Amendola and Edelman are both sneaky. They're hard. They're hard to bring down for small guys
all
because
four
they're
of
shifty.
Deion
them,
Lewis,
all
too.
four of them,
Deion
they
Lewis.
all do
I
the
love
same
Deion
thing.
Lewis.
They all run the quick routes and get open over the middle.
No, they're just on the ring.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't have a dynamic offense. They have an efficient offense. It's two different things. I'm not saying one's
It's
better
not
than the
Pittsburgh's
other.
offense.
It's not Pittsburgh.
Right.
They're
No,
not-
it's not. It's not Pittsburgh's offense, but
Is it a top 5 offense?
Oh,
Yes, without a
That's the
doubt.
question.
Without a doubt. But it's not dynamic.
would you be surprised if at the end of the year New England scores more points than Pittsburgh?
No, I think they will.
No, they'll be up there. New England always scores a lot.
New England's gonna
of
score
points.
a ton of points.
I'd be a little surprised because you're not just including the 12 games of Brady, right? You're looking at all 16.
Right.
Because I like Garoppolo. I like the way he throws the ball, but And those like the game against Arizona is going to be a hard game.
It is.
That's the only game they're gonna lose.
They're gonna lose their first game and then they'll win the next.
And
three
Garoppolo's
without
gonna
Brady.
play. Garoppolo's gonna play pretty well.
Is it a running back driven league anymore? In not overall in the NFL from a fantasy standpoint. Do you need dominant running backs to win?
I'm gonna say you don't need. It used to be you needed 2, possibly 3 if you wanted to win fantasy. Now I'm gonna say you need one top 10, top 15 running back. You gotta have at least one. And then I think receivers kind of take over from there. But there's so many receivers, you have to get one of those top running backs if you can.
I just want one. I just want one solid top running back, and then receivers after that are just
and
what's
then
taking
you can
over.
and then you can get running backs late that are gonna.
There's
do
too many split
there's a lot
committees.
of committees.
It's
That's pretty much
can
what
find
the
another back.
running back position is now.
yeah. There's
It's
not
a
a lot of
committee.
featured backs.
You
anymore.
only have a few guys that are going to be feature every down backs.
Like I think Gurley's gonna be. Oh, I like Gurley a lot.
I don't think Gurley's going to have as good a season as everybody thinks.
He runs like a girl.
That's because you just don't like him at who he is. You've never
No,
liked Gurley.
I have no problem. I'm just saying sophomore running backs never do well.
Nah, this kid's different.
Gurley
Jeff Fisher's great with running backs.
Gurley I think is different.
He's different. He runs differently.
I think he may be that next level level running back for the next 10 years.
Yep, he's gonna be good.
I think that's the guy. But when it comes to fantasy, like I've seen it, I'd be really curious to really break it down and see how many championship teams had running backs that were picked up off the waiver wire.
Yeah.
That I think is something that's going unsaid here, and is why
lot
I
of backs
think
get
it
injured.
is a running back league. You don't see a lot of receivers come off the waiver wire and dominate. It's always running back goes down.
Yeah, but that's because
picks
somebody
up that
gets
guy.
hurt. That's all completely different. That's completely different than a receiver. Receivers don't have to step up like that.
They don't.
You're
But
talking
you
about carrying
can,
a whole offense on your
But
back.
you can win a championship by week 4, week 5, week 6 if you pick up that waiver wire back.
Right, but I also
That's
think
different, though.
running back is a lot. I think it's a different kind of position.
It's a whole different thing. I mean, yeah, receiver. Those guys don't step in and do that, but that always happens at running
A running
backs.
back,
You know that's going to happen.
running back can get the carries.
Right, which is
They're
why
going
I'm
to get
saying,
the points. Receivers might not get those catches every
They might
game.
not catch the ball.
which is why I'm saying I would rather go after receivers and getting top receivers, knowing that
you can pick someone
not
up,
only do
yeah.
I have the draft to have an opportunity to pick up a running back,
You can pick
I know
them.
there's going to be injuries. I know guys are going to come out the woodwork as a running back and have that opportunity there too.
Yeah,
I
but-
wouldn't reach for a running back at all,
But
unless
you gotta
unless
hope you
he
get him
fell
on the
to me
waivers,
right
though.
there. Unless he fell to me right there. If it's a no-brainer, like okay, this is where I take this running back because he's better than anybody else. But if there is a receiver that is better than a running back, I'm probably going to take him.
You like the waiver wire game?
I love.
But
the
then you
waiver
gotta
So you
hope
got Tommy
that
Thompson doesn't get him.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
win in the draft.
Tommy
You
will
win
get
in the
you.
wire. You don't win a league in a draft. You win it in the wire.
You do.
I
Right,
beg
the-
to differ.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot. Your draft team doesn't really stay for
But how many?
the whole year.
Had any of you won a championship with just
No,
your draft?
that doesn't
team?
happen. That doesn't happen.
It
No,
doesn't happen.
It does not.
No, I've lost 3 times in the finals with a team that I've predominantly
Right.
drafted.
So-
2 people who traded.
Yeah, but you still had key
and
parts
waiver
from
wire.
the waiver wire.
Right, you have to work the waiver wire. But
And you have to make you. But
some guys only work the waiver wire, and that's how their whole season goes.
That's our
And
league.
you
That's
do-
everybody in this league.
That's how
I know
won my
that you.
championship.
I know that
Right.
you.
I have
I know that you
everything.
knock trades, but you do have to make smart ones. You made a huge one with Devontae Freeman.
Right, I'm not-
That made a difference from you being.
Yeah, that saved
from,
you.
From,
No, I know.
from you being a top team to maybe getting 4 wins.
And that's not what I'm arguing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm arguing if you had a fantasy league where the team you based off just the team you draft, and
like
then-
if you could lock it in. That's
and then,
it.
And then you can injuries. You can pick somebody up in bye weeks. You can switch people out. I guarantee you, I would have won 2 out of the last 3. I guarantee it.
All right, take it easy.
Look at my
Take
teams
it,
that I've drafted.
but-
Look where I finished.
But what
Take
does
it easy.
what does that tell you? That maybe you need to adapt more to the trading
Oh.
and making the smart trades like you did last year. That was
I
a
made
huge trade
one,
to me.
and it didn't end up paying off anyways because he died out. But then the waiver wire
but
is
he got you where you were.
waiver wire is completely luck. Is if you're high enough on the waiver wire to get the top guy that week. If
Tommy
you used
Thompson.
it, if you
Every-
used
every
it last,
week.
if you
Every
used it
fucking
last week because you needed the best tight end available because yours got hurt, and then the next week the next star running back emerges, you're sitting in 12th. You know you're not getting them. That's how the cards play.
Mm-hmm.
I
you know-
never get anybody on the waivers.
Talking about the waiver wire,
I hate
and
it.
This is completely unplanned. Who's going to be the waiver wire surprise this year? Take time to think.
Surprise?
Who is going to be your... If you could guess, if you're thinking, if this guy goes down or if this young guy gets enough snaps, who is your waiver wire surprise?
I think if Murray goes down, Derrick Henry could have a good year.
Derrick Henry could have a huge... I think that's a big one. Derrick Henry
Murray goes down,
especially after trading Beckham, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the shit. Derrick Henry, I think, is...
Another Alabama running back that won't do anything in the NFL. That's what he is.
Anything.
He's gonna be a bum.
To have that frame,
he won't be.
Is
he
slow
won't be.
or
He
is
won't
he
be
just
Trent
big?
Richardson bad, because nobody will ever be that bad.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna be good. He's not gonna be the Heisman Trophy.
Richardson was
winning.
solid his first year. It just kind of, I think, other factors took him
Well,
over.
like solid 3 yards.
Name a running back from Alabama that's been good in the last 10 years.
Eddie Lacy.
For
Eddie
more
Lacy's
than
a
1
good
year.
back.
Eddie Lacy's all right.
And
Nah.
Lacey's had his
He's
up
cool.
and downs.
Yeah, but that's mostly
apparently
because
he's
of his
lost
weight.
22
right.
pounds.
That's what he's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, no, he definitely was chunky.
Yeah, that's exactly what. And nothing else. He was overweight.
I think it's unfair
was.
to base every Alabama running back based on Trent. Because Ingram's started off slow, but he's made a pretty decent career
I like
for
Mark
himself
Ingram.
over there.
Mark Ingram's
Mark
a
Ingram,
great, a
yes,
good player.
solid running
New
back.
Orleans.
We're talking about
Eddie
guys that were
Lacy's had
taken high
a,
in drafts.
Yeah, he's got his days.
Lacy's had a solid career so far.
Yep.
I mean, who
Right, solid
who has failed? Who has failed Alabama? I even think T.J. Yeldon has a lot of talent over there in
Yeldon will be
Jacksonville.
pretty good.
You also got to look at where they were taken in the draft.
Yeah, they also went from
If you
like,
take
the
it-
best team in Bama to one of the worst teams in the NFL.
If you're taking them in the first round, though, it should be you should hope that it be somebody that's going to be your back for 10 years.
Yeah, but is that just Bama? I think any running back in the first round that gets taken, you run a huge risk with them.
Right.
You always run a risk with running backs, but
What is Ezekiel Elliott gonna do? Is he really gonna be that good?
That was a big move.
He might,
That's one of those-
He might have a good line.
That's one of those
behind,
ones,
so that
though.
might help him
He's
out.
going to run behind a great offensive line, so we'll see.
He's gonna look good
He's
when
got,
he plays. He's
he
gonna
has.
look good.
There's no reason why he shouldn't fail.
Right.
With his talent and that line, they're
He's
going
gonna
to
be
give
good.
him the
If he
ball.
stays healthy, there's no
If he's
reason
healthy,
for
there's
less
no
than
reason he
1,000 yards.
can't rush for over 1,000
But
yards.
is it unfair to him? Because Cowboys fans taking top 10. What are your expectations for him? And they have to be Emmitt Smith.
They're going to say Emmitt Smith right off the bat.
Is that unfair to him?
no.
Oh yeah, what? Yeah.
That's very unfair.
It's gotta be unfair.
It's very unfair.
Yeah, he hasn't even stepped a foot in the NFL field yet.
Right. It's does that pressure get to him?
Does
Playing
it-
in Dallas,
does it get to-
everybody
Does
looks at
Does
him.
it get to anybody in that position? How many guys have been in that position where you get drafted by a team and that's going to be the next this guy, that's going to be the next that guy?
Yeah, but you shouldn't get straight off the bat compared to the greatest
I
running
mean,
back of all time.
if you look at people's rankings, he's almost like a surefire first round pick in some of these.
He's gonna
in
be good.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Rookie-
No, you're
A
right.
rookie running back.
Rookie running backs do well. It's their sophomore year where they
But
take
if
that little
Dallas
step
didn't
back.
draft him, if Dallas did not draft him, let's say he went to Cleveland. This just is he worth that top pick?
No, absolutely not.
So
Right,
how do you really rate him?
but Dallas was in the position because you rate him
For
based
Dallas,
on
I
where
would
he
say
went.
he is, yeah.
He went to a team with a good quarterback, a great number one wide receiver. Witten's aging, but he's still a good tight end.
Great line.
And you're running behind arguably the best offensive line in football.
Right, for them, that's a pick they should take.
That's
there.
that's
Not for
exactly
another
the
team
kind of
that
guy
needs
you
so
take
much other
there
help.
because it's a perfect situation for
right.
him.
You know he's going to be good.
So this is where you find out if he can't run behind that line in that offense,
he's not going to.
then he's not going to make it in the NFL.
His floor. We're talking his ceiling is Emmitt Smith. His floor is DeMarco Murray. You're
Right.
talking about this kid is 22 years old and he's getting straight out of college. He's got to be plugged in immediately to be that. I feel like when a quarterback gets picked in the first round, no one's saying Carson Wentz has to be or no one's saying Goff has to be the next Kurt Warner right now. They're saying that Elliott is that next guy right now.
Quarterback is
Freshman year in the pros.
Quarterback is a whole nother position. You're running an entire offense in the NFL. You're not just
Yeah.
you're not just the running back.
The situation's perfect for Ezekiel. It's not perfect for Goff. It's not perfect for Goff.
Wentz or Jared Goff, they don't need to be Kurt Warner.
Who the fuck is
there's a difference when you go to Dallas and you're America's team and you're one of the biggest media.
Right, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. Are we seeing Elliott in a different light because he's in Dallas? Are we seeing him better than what he's really going to be? Do you think he's going to be as good as Dallas fans think he's going to, or as good as the general media thinks he's going to be? Or do you think he's not?
I personally don't think he's going to be. He's going to be good. He's not going to be great his first season like I think Dallas fans. A Cowboy fan would probably think about taking him first. They think he's going to be.
He's going to be.
They think he's going to be Emmitt Smith next year. He's going to be good. He should. There's no reason he can't rush for over 1,200 yards.
He's going to make it look easy. He's going to make it look easy. He's going to make it look like that transition's nothing. But it's going to be because of everything around him.
But it's because he's in the right. If you had put him, who drafted before them or after them? Name any other team really that he could have went to. If he goes to Cleveland,
it's going to just enhance him. It's going to really enhance his game.
It is going to enhance because he's got it. Unlike a lot of players who get drafted, he's got everything working for him. He's
right.
Like you said, he's got
perfect
the quarterback,
situation.
He's got the receiver. He's got the offensive line. He's got everything that really he needs to succeed. But would he be better than, let's say, Adrian Peterson ended up coming to Dallas? Would he be more impactful than him? Peterson carried a team in Minnesota for years. Brought them to the playoffs one year by himself.
Oh my God!
Right.
Is Elliott going to be that type of running back?
Peterson breaks the rushing record on that.
Is he always going to be looked at higher than what he should be because
Peterson
of what he's playing?
Would break the rushing record on that Dallas.
Probably
team.
would.
He would smash the rushing record.
Probably would.
Right, he would smash it.
Yeah,
even this late in his career, he would smash
Elliott,
it.
He's not the only offensive option there in Dallas. You still got Witten and Dez and Romo's. He gets too much heat. He's not a bad quarterback.
No, he's not a bad
Romo puts up great.
That's my favorite fantasy quarterback.
Great.
He's not going to be handing the ball off to Elliott because there's no other option anywhere else in the field. They still got Dez and other guys to throw to.
They do.
Elliott's in the perfect situation to run for 1,200 yards, 8+ touchdowns. It probably set even
he
7.
Have to get eight,
right,
a little more.
And then that is a very successful rookie season.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then all he has to do is just keep building on that, and eventually he'll be in that category of great running backs in the NFL.
But how many years does Romo have left? Let's say he's done after 2, and they got...
It's not if he hurts the collarbone again.
Kellen Moore is now their starting quarterback.
He wouldn't be, though.
Is Ezekiel Elliott still the Ezekiel Elliott with Tony Romo there? Or does it look like a complete failure because they know...
Well, then, if for some reason they go with Kellen Moore as their guy...
I don't think they'd even put Kellen Moore in.
Yeah, Elliott's just going to get more handoffs.
Yeah, they're stacked. The defense is stacking the
They
box.
Stack the box. So
every
then we find out what he is. Because how many times did Adrian Peterson see an 8 or 9 man box?
Exactly my point.
That's all he ever saw.
Exactly my point. I don't think... Just off... I could be completely wrong, but I don't think he's the upper level running back like a Peterson. I don't think he is that. I don't think he's ever going to be that. I think his situation plays into it a lot, like we said. But I don't think he's ever going to be...
What are you basing that off of? That's just your opinion?
Yeah.
What are you basing it off of?
It's
not like he struggled at Ohio State.
Just my personal opinion. And I think that's the fun part when you have a rookie come in, because everybody has their opinion, just based on maybe what you see in college or just your own personal bias. And, I'm sure people thought there was people who thought Peterson coming out of Oklahoma was probably going to be the Peterson he is, and there was people who probably thought just a running back out of Oklahoma could be a bust. I'm sure there was people that thought that.
You do that with every guy at almost every position,
right.
too.
Right. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't think he's going to be the next Trent.
He's not a bust.
But a top 10 pick, like...
In fantasy?
No. I'm talking about in the draft, in general. Being that top 10 pick...
He was worth it because of where he was taken and by who he was taken. And when you
worth it
look
to
back
them.
at the draft, all you're going to see is he went to Dallas. That was a huge need for the Cowboys. They got the best player available at the position they needed the most, and they were lucky.
Did they trade up for Elliott?
No. They were already drafted.
Yeah, they did
What did they pick him at?
5th?
5, 6?
I think it was 6. We could all be wrong, but...
We don't
No, it was
check.
4. It was 4 or 5. I think Bosa was 5.
You know what? And looking at this now, just here, we're going and thinking...
He was the 4th pick.
Fourth pick.
Fourth. That was
Fourth pick.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's high for a running
Right,
back.
but
Overall pick.
if Dallas isn't picking fourth, and let's say for some reason Minnesota was, Elliott probably goes outside the top 10. He kind of falls down.
I think if Dallas
the perfect team
didn't take him, he may have fell to the 20s.
No, he wouldn't have made it past Oakland. Oakland was going to take him. If he was
Oakland were going to take him?
He was guaranteed he was going to be a Raider if he was on the board. That was their guy.
It's kind of bizarre pick.
That's a bizarre pick.
That's a bizarre. That's a fucking Raider
They
pick.
wanted to improve the running back and improve their
That
offense.
is an Al Davis pick.
That's a terrible pick.
How is that a terrible pick?
What do you got with Latavius Murray, who's supposed to be last year? You're telling me this is the guy.
Right. I'm not telling you what I want. I'm telling you what the Oakland thought. They wanted another running back.
Imagine the trade.
How many
They
running
would
backs
have
you need?
They would have taken Elliott.
You got Roy Halou.
Now,
They
Roy
cut
Halou.
Roy Halou.
Now that I'm seeing right here these running back rankings outside of Bell and Peterson,
Who's the third back?
I will tell you: David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley.
I don't think David Johnson is going to be what everybody thinks he's going to be this year either.
He was a perfect waiver wire pickup who worked out. You're giving.
He's a good back.
He is a good back, but is he a top 3 or a top 5 pick?
No,
But you know what?
I
He's
would
another
take
running
top
back in a very good situation.
He's a late first round pick, I would say.
Right.
I would take him.
But I know people that are taking him. They're thinking about taking him with like their top 5 picks.
He's not Peterson or Bell. He's not that type of back.
He's also,
There's two, and then there's a drop off to 3.
He also did it 1 year. And he was sporadically.
1 and
thrown
2
in
are
there.
clear cut ahead of everybody else in running back.
I think this is just me. You're going to see more wide receivers taken in the first round this year in fantasy than what you're going to see running backs.
Oh yeah, no.
I do.
No question.
I would agree with that.
I do.
I say no question.
I do because
I don't think so.
How come?
Because you're gonna have Bell.
Mm-hmm.
You would imagine you have Bell. We're talking about. Are we talking about a 12-man league here?
12-man league.
So you're gonna have
PPR.
You're gonna have Bell. You're gonna have Peterson. Somebody's gonna take David Johnson.
Right.
Somebody's gonna take Gronkowski.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna take Rodgers. Also maybe 7.
And then you've got Brown, Beckham, Jones, Hopkins, and Bryant. And that's not even saying Robinson and Green. Those are the second round guys. But those 5 guys are gone in the first round.
Yep.
Oh, somebody might take Cam. All right, it'll either be 7 to 5 receiver, other position, or it's going to be.
Well, it
split
depends on the
6 and
people in
6.
your league.
Right. Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton are going in the first round. Every year somebody takes at least 2 or 3 quarterbacks go. Yeah. Gronkowski's going to go.
Yo.
He
Johnson,
went in the
Bell,
second round
Peterson,
last
and
year.
I bet you somebody.
He's gonna probably take Lamar Miller if he can.
I bet you somebody else takes a running back. Somebody's taking Gurley.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm grabbing Gurley if he's there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be either a 50-50
I think you have
split
5,
or it splits the other way.
You know what? Right.
Oh, gladly.
I think you might have 5, 5, and 2. I think you're going to see Rodgers. I don't think you're going to see Cam go in the first round. I think
You're going to see Cam go in the first round.
You think so?
Yep. Somebody's going to
Cam,
take
I would
him.
take if I'm taking a quarterback with a high quarterback. I'm taking Cam over Rodgers.
You're going to have Cam, Rodgers, Gronkowski. Those 3 are going in the first round, and then you got.
So that leaves us with either
then you got
5 or 4,
and then you got the 4 running backs,
which would be.
so that gives you 7 right there.
Well, how about if Bell's suspended? Then you're definitely talking. He may even fall out of the first round if he's suspended for 4 games.
I don't know.
No,
he
if
might
he's-
take him.
We're gonna find out on
He
the
won't, because
18th.
He won't. I don't think there's no way he falls out of the first round.
But if he is for 4 games, you think someone will take him in the first round?
still take if
4
you have
games?
if I'm drafting 3rd. Obviously, I'm not going to take him with the 3rd pick if he's suspended like 2 games and he's there. That's different. 4 games though. If I was drafting 9, 10, 11, 12, and Bell pops up and I'm drafting 9, I won't even hesitate. I'd be like, I'm taking Bell. It's a no-brainer. When he comes back, he's going to be the best running back in the game. Mm-hmm. You bite the bullet for 4 games. You draft.
Yeah, but then you got to about is he going to come back sharp the 5th game? Then maybe he'll come back to 6th.
Jamal Charles.
He does it all too.
Jamal Charles is one of those guys that is he worth taking? Because is he going to be healthy?
No, he is
Well,
healthy.
I thought that
besides
same
last
thing
year,
when I
has he
took
been
him.
No,
injured?
but is he going to
Has
stay
he been
healthy?
injured
No.
besides last year though?
No, but
No, the freaking ACL.
But there's a thing in people's mind, because it was in mind that's programmed to think Jamal Charles is injury prone. He's barely been hurt his entire career.
And when it comes to fantasy, you don't forget the season before.
Oh, you don't.
You drafted Jamal Charles last year, and he obviously got hurt. All you're thinking about this year is there's no way I'm drafting Charles. He screwed me over.
Yeah, with the emergence of Niall
Oh, well, I'm
Davis.
not taking Charles.
I'm not.
Right.
That's
I'm not
not
taking
happening.
Jamal Charles.
That's not happening. He fucked me last year.
Just like
I'll play with him in Madden. I wouldn't take him in
Just like I absolutely love Jordy Nelson. I'm not taking him because he got hurt last year, and I know it's a freak thing.
Didn't he get a little problem in this training camp?
He did?
I
don't want him or Cobb. They both scare me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm scared of
Nelson's never been hurt, but the fact that he did that last year and I lost him before the season started, I'm not even going to take him because I'm just terrified it's going to happen to me again.
When do you take a quarterback?
Don't take a quarterback till
I'm taking him late.
Mid first.
6th to 7th.
Mid-first round, you think you take a quarterback?
If I'm picking in the middle and like my guys are going, I'll probably go for a quarterback. Like it would have to be Cam or it would have to be Rodgers. There's no other quarterback I would take.
Right.
I'm going like 6th or 7th.
I'm not taking a quarterback till the 6th, 7th round.
Same here.
At
7th
least-
or 8th.
At least 6th, 7th.
I would be curious to see where Tom Brady falls. Where do you think he falls?
I think the
someone like
earliest
Tom?
he could go is for somebody is the late second round.
That's what I think. Too.
I think the earliest is late second round.
Somebody could sit there and say, well, because he's surefire.
I think very max 3rd. At beginning of 3rd.
Right.
And that's fine because then it leaves
He'll go in first too.
it leaves all the other quarterbacks there that you can get.
Right. I'm not picking Brady anyway, no matter if I can or not. So I don't care about him.
But the difference between Rodgers and Newton, they're gonna get you a lot of fantasy points. It's not gonna be as significant.
I don't know. Russell Wilson won me a lot of games last season.
Cam Newton, the rushing touchdowns puts him up to a higher level.
Yeah.
The rushing and the yards puts him up the higher level. Like he's not going to get 1,000 rushing yards. He'll get maybe like the 500s. But the rushing touchdowns.
But you can take a guy like Russell Wilson who's going to get you a ton of rushing yards and everything.
Kind of
else.
saved.
And you can get him in the 7th or 8th round.
Russell seems to get like white hot for like 4 or 5 games.
He does get real hot.
Like white hot.
Carson Palmer, Tony Romo, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Derek Carr. They're all
don't forget
Blake
about
Bortles.
Blake Bortles may be
They're
my
all
guy.
going to be. They're all going to be there.
I wanted Buffalo to grab him.
They're all going to be
I like
there
him.
past rounds 4 or 5. You need stack
Tyrod.
up on receivers and running backs.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of.
There's so many quarterbacks.
Stafford could have a big year.
You
Jim
know
Bob
what?
Cooter.
Stafford is at the bottom. That's a guy who puts up.
Now with Jim Bob Cooter, he's gonna have a big year.
What?
Trying to find him here.
Jim Bob Cooter.
Listen,
he's a
offensive
coordinator. He's dope.
Give me a guess where Stafford is ranked on. This is Lindley Sports.
What is this?
Fantasy
Among just quarterbacks? or
among just
overall?
quarterbacks.
I'm gonna
Take a guess.
15.
I'm gonna say 16.
I said 14.
25.
Damn.
And this is a guy who puts up 4,000 yards a year.
No way.
Yeah, he just lost Calvin Johnson.
out.
They're gonna all say because he lost Calvin. That's what.
He's
That's
still
the
gonna
only
throw the
reason
ball.
he's ranked.
They
there.
got Bolden though.
No, I can.
Bolden, Tate.
I 100% agree. Stafford's gonna be.
Pressure.
He's gonna put up the numbers. I'm just saying he's ranked so low because he lost Calvin.
They have Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler's gonna
4 players
and
ahead.
he's gonna throw 25 interceptions.
I think he's the worst quarterback in the league.
He's not the worst quarterback in the league.
I think he's
Cutler's
close.
will be a little better this year than he was last year.
I don't think he's ever going to be better.
Who? Jay Cutler. He's gonna throw for over 3,000 yards. He's gonna throw you 27 touchdowns, but he's gonna throw 20-something picks.
And he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna miss games.
They got. Tell me if any of these sound off to you. All right, I'm gonna read through. Let's say the top 12 quarterbacks. Let's say there's 12 teams, so everybody has a starter, right? Cam Newton's number 1.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Aaron Rodgers.
Makes sense.
Andrew Luck.
I put Roethlisberger 3.
Roethlisberger's 4.
Okay.
He's right behind
I
him.
could flip though. It doesn't matter.
I
You know
would
what?
not
You
put
could
Luck.
go.
I would
You
not
could
put
go
Luck.
either way with those guys.
I wouldn't go with Lucky. They come off the injury and like the receiving and the offensive.
Is Luck a top 5 quarterback though? You would imagine the numbers he put up before the injury
He'll be a
last
top
year.
5.
The fact
Somebody will take him. Somebody will take him in the late first round, early second.
I think the best fantasy.
Nobody will take Palmer until the later rounds.
I think
Who's 5?
I think the best Russell. I think the best fantasy quarterback here, really, who's guaranteed is number 6 and is Breeze. Never hurt. And puts up guy averages almost close to 4,800 yards.
And it doesn't matter who they put in that offense.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Breeze
And he's
is good.
6th. All right. Then you go Palmer at 7, Eli at 8, Bortles at 9, Carr at 10, Romo 11, and Dalton 12. So picture everybody has a starting quarterback now, right? Now we're gonna go past 12. And this is what.
And see, I would take Stafford over Andy Dalton. Anyway.
Right, and this is what you're drafting
like
for
Dalton.
depth, I guess, right? So, Brady, Rivers, Cousins, Mariota and Winston, Osweiler, Taylor, Matt Ryan, Cutler, Tannehill, Fitzpatrick, Stafford, Bridgewater.
Taylor needs to be
I like
above
Fitzpatrick
Osweiler.
too.
You gotta think Stafford.
Are you happy having any of those guys as your backup quarterback?
I'm happy
I'd
with
be
any one
one
of those guys as my starter.
Exactly.
I'd be happy as a starter.
This is why. Yeah. Okay. You say you.
There's not that much difference between Cam Newton and Matt Stafford.
There's
You're not
not.
gonna put that much points.
There's
And you gotta think in a 12-man league, those top 7 guys are gonna go. So then you got 1, 2, 3. You got like 5 people that need a quarterback, and you'll have all those guys available.
Right.
So you're basically gonna sit there and be like 6th round. Every other guys are scrambling. They need another running back because they took a quarterback so high. You're sitting back thinking, I already stacked up 3 running backs, 2 receivers, or vice versa. Now I'm just gonna grab a quarterback who's gonna get, say for whatever, just for hypothetical, Rodgers is gonna get 300 fantasy points. Blake Bortles is gonna get you what? 275, 280.
Yep.
What? So 20 points, and you got to stack up on the positions that
And
really matter.
guys like Rodgers and Newton, when they have a stinker, and you know that they're gonna have a few, it stands out much more than it does when Derek Carr
You're
or
expecting
when
it.
Because
You're expecting
the
it.
rest of your team took a little bit of a hit, at the key positions.
Because you built around a quarterback early.
Right.
That's where you hurt by taking.
I've
a
been
quarterback
saying that
early.
for the last 3 years.
And I jumped on
quarterback.
2 years ago.
I used to always just take Romo. He would end up being a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I would take him in round 7, 8, 9. Last year I took Rivers and Palmer. Palmer ended up being a
You got
stud.
Rivers and Palmer. Think about that.
32 touchdowns or something
Rivers
like that.
and Rivers had a great year.
I
He
know.
always puts up good numbers.
I don't
Yeah,
think.
So you're passing yards.
I think the Chargers are going to be the worst team in the NFL.
No
next year.
way. They will
Nah.
not be worse than the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. Oh, well, all right.
Or Cleveland.
I actually,
I
had this argument with a friend at work the other day, and we went through the entire Cleveland Browns schedule.
I fuck with Cleveland.
They could easily win 4 to 5 games if RG3 plays well.
Yeah.
I don't
4 to
think.
5?
I think. Yeah, look at their schedule. They have games where they can win.
I thought you were about to say some crazy number.
No. I'm saying no,
Yeah,
but
I was thinking like-
but
I
Sandy,
was thinking-
but no,
But I
but
don't think
San-
that puts them
but
as the
San
worst team
Diego,
in the
but
league.
San Diego will be worse. San Francisco will be worse.
You set that
I
up
think
way
San Diego's
wrong.
got a lot.
You
Got
just
some
set that
fight
up good.
though.
I'm trying to
They got a little
That's a
fight,
lot
San
of wins
Diego.
for them.
The
They
thing
won't be
about
the worst team.
the thing about San Diego is they're done there. They're moving. It's it. They are. It's
They
a.
might just pack it in.
It is a dead city now. That was never really a football city to begin with.
Yeah, but they might get the Raiders, so who knows?
Who's this?
The Chargers.
Oh,
They really don't have outside of like
they're
Keenan
bad.
Allen.
They're bad. They're
Oh.
actually good.
They're good. Not the Chargers. The
muffin.
the double chocolate chip muffins that we have right now in the green room.
Those are good.
Those are very
Chargers
good.
are not.
Chargers will be bad.
Nah, their Chargers will be the worst in football. Them and 49ers fighting for it.
That's what I think. They can't even sign Bosa.
They're
They are an absolute.
They might have to do
mess.
something. They might have to trade them.
They're in
bad.
complete
It's bad.
disarray.
Can they trade him?
It's bad between those two. I'm hearing.
Can they trade him even though they haven't signed him? Can they trade his rights?
I don't know. They got to do something.
that possible?
Better
Or-
make them happy.
Because I know Bosa can actually
How do you trade
re-enter
somebody-
the draft next year
Oh,
if he
shit.
goes
Bosa's
unsigned.
sick.
Am I
Bosa's
right?
Sick.
I don't know.
How bad does
actually.
it sound that you could trade somebody's rights away?
I know, right? That sounds sketchy.
Bad, right? But you know what? Now,
There's clearly a reason Eli Manning didn't want to go there 14 years ago.
yeah.
Should have
whatever
pulled
it was.
him.
now that we are
All
on,
right, good
now
job,
that we
Eli,
are
yeah.
on to the Chargers, these two know what's coming. Trading Phillip Rivers.
Oh, this
How
is-
do all of you feel, really, now that we're recording, because we've talked about this away from the mic a couple of times, trading Phillip Rivers?
I was originally on board with not trading Phillip Rivers. After I had another conversation today, I'm on board with they need to trade Phillip
Yeah.
Rivers.
Who can
I've
win?
come,
Absolutely.
I've come around to it.
Even, I say they trade Phillip, even if it means trading him in the division to Denver. How much is it going to hurt them? San Diego's going to suck for the next 3 to 4 years,
But
and that's really what
you-
Phillip Rivers has
no
to do.
I
team
think
will
San Diego
ever-
thinks they're going to be good.
There's no way.
That was my original argument as to why
They
they were
think
going
they
to
can
keep
still
him.
be good.
They think they're going to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they think Melvin Gordon's going to actually be a good running back.
I think
They
they're
are
going
the
to rely a lot
worst
on him.
team in their division by a
It's
mile.
it's a landslide.
By an absolute mile.
Yeah, they're not
There's
even.
no way that even their front office could think we are better than Denver, even with Sanchez under center.
Whoa, Sanchez looked
Yeah.
pretty good so far. I'll be talking shit.
Sanchez is a
games in the mediocre.
Sanchez is a decent game manager.
He's solid,
but he's not going to win Denver a Super Bowl.
All three teams can potentially win 10-plus games.
Yeah.
San Diego will be lucky if they win 3.
And Kansas City. They will go... I wouldn't be surprised if they go 0-6 in their division.
No, they will.
I don't know why everybody's hating on Mark Sanchez so much. Look what he did when he had a good Jets team.
Butt fumble.
Good teams, good results.
Sanchez...
Look at those fucking goofy Jets teams he played on.
And it's true. Listen, I do like Sanchez. I think he's a good game manager.
Yeah, look at the offense he's got.
And he does have an even better defense than what he did when he was with the Jets.
And a good offense.
And he's got a good offense. But the thing about Sanchez, I think he's got the Cutler syndrome. He can make some pretty big throws because
he's gonna make the one bad one.
He's gonna make the one bad.
Guess what?
He will do something. But I promise you, will be number 1 on the not top 10 at least twice.
And
this
guess
year.
what? In that same game, our defense will make up for whatever dumbass thing he does.
And it could.
No problem. I guarantee it.
But are they a legitimate Super Bowl contender with Mark Sanchez?
No.
Yes. We won one with Brock Osweiler.
Yes.
Mark Sanchez is going to be a better quarterback than Brock Osweiler.
I don't even I hate the Broncos.
You think they're a Super Bowl contender with Sanchez?
With that defense and everything else they got on offense?
We won a Super Bowl last year with no quarterback. Why are we not one now?
It's true.
Didn't they lose some pieces to that team, though?
Not much.
Not enough.
Malik Jackson. That's
not enough. Not enough to make a difference. That team.
They had a lot of luck getting there. Because if it's Gerald Toussaint doesn't fumble the ball for Pittsburgh, and Denver went down and scored that winning touchdown, they probably lose.
You can say about anybody.
You say that any year about any team.
Yeah, but a strong defense can carry it. But with Sanchez,
He won the Super Bowl.
I don't think the defense is going to regress a little bit because last year's defense was fantastic. They kept giving
last
teams
year's defense
chance
may have been the best defense since the '86.
So why does something when it's good automatically have to go backwards?
2000 Ravens.
I don't think it has to.
That happens in any sport. You automatically have to go backwards if you have a good year.
Just something about it. I guess I gotta see it to believe it. I just can't see Sanchez winning the Super Bowl.
I'm sure the Bulls are supposed to have bad years, not good years.
Did anybody think the Warriors are going to win 73 after they won 60-something?
I honestly think that, and it's probably better for them, that Sanchez may not implode. He's going to suck just enough for Denver to win, and I think you're going to get the young kid.
You know what he's going to do?
And I think that's what,
do you know
what
he's going to
do? He's
going to do his job. He's going to come out, throw his little short
passes. But
passes.
I think his job is to suck a little.
You know what?
Mark Sanchez's job is to suck
his job
a
is to
little.
be average, and that's what he's going to do.
But you know what's going to work to his advantage is the fact that the expectations for him are so low.
Right, no one's expecting him
Nobody's
to be a
expecting
Pro
him to do
Bowler.
anything.
But Denver, their defense is going to be good next year. I really don't think it's going to be as good as it was last year. I think the offense is going to have to carry more of the load than it did last year. Like they're not going to be able to have another Peyton Manning type thing, and they wouldn't be able to ride that.
We didn't have a quarterback at all. Peyton Manning sucked last year, and so did Brock.
I don't think they
Neither one of them was great.
in a row.
But I don't understand why.
Manning shouldn't have played last year. It was bad.
Yeah, I thought Osweiler should have
The
stayed.
Broncos will be probably one of the 4 teams left in the AFC.
I just don't get why you're automatically getting regressed.
I just think Sanchez is there to just like I said, suck just enough to win games and get the young guy.
He's there to be average. He's there to just manage a game. He's there
But
to be Alex Smith, Teddy Bridgewater. That's what
Ryan
he's there
Fitzpatrick.
That's what he can do. He can do it perfectly.
I think
I
Teddy.
have full confidence.
I
in
think
Mark
Teddy
Sanchez.
is better than Sanchez.
But he's a game manager. He doesn't win you games.
Absolutely.
That guy does not win you
If you
games.
sit here,
but he's also
better than his
24 years old.
His fantasy value shows.
He can also run around a lot.
He's
Mark Sanchez
better than
can't.
his fantasy value shows.
I'm going to tell you right now.
He's a game manager.
There's really not that much difference between Bridgewater and Sanchez.
They both can.
They're going to do
Alex Smith.
Bridgewater might
Fitzpatrick.
run a little more. If you sit here and you say that the Broncos aren't a legit contender for the Super Bowl, you probably got.
I don't understand because we lost our quarterback. We didn't have a solid quarterback situation at
That's
all
right.
last year. It doesn't even make. That argument is invalid.
Sanchez, for all we know, Sanchez is probably better than the 2 they had last
He'll have
year.
a better year than both of them. I
They
guarantee
can make
that.
the playoffs. They can contend. I wouldn't put them on my
Make the
short
playoffs.
list, though.
Oh my god! They're
You
gonna
gotta
be fighting
remember
for the AFC Championship.
You got to remember too. They got two other quarterbacks. Adam Schefter was already talking to Swarm. Paxton Lynch by the end of the year is going to be the starting quarterback anyways.
That's the whole point I'm trying to make. I think Sanchez's job. I think it's his whole purpose of being on this team.
Don't screw up.
I don't think it's right. It's to just suck a little.
I think he's gonna
and
surprise people.
groom it for your future, which would be Paxton Lynch. And I think Denver would ultimately.
I don't like Paxton Lynch, so
You don't at all.
No, I'm not gonna be that good. And I think Sanchez is going to be better than everybody's giving him credit for.
You know, I would.
Those 2 years he went to the AFC Championship, he was real. Mark Sanchez was good.
He made great plays.
He can still do it.
He did, and
he's got better weapons.
It may
better weapons.
It may sound like I don't like Sanchez. I never said I don't like him.
That's why you guys are all saying this. You don't like Sanchez. You're not
I
giving nobody here.
I haven't heard.
I've always liked Mark Sanchez.
I don't want the Broncos to win more than fucking 3 games. But they honestly, they're gonna win 12 or 13 games. Like, how you can't sit here and say the Broncos aren't gonna be a
because
top
nobody
team
wants
in the AFC.
to. Everybody wants.
You
to
haven't given me an actual reason as to why they're not gonna be that good.
The quarterback situation. That's what they keep giving me. It's invalid.
If you look at it, they probably honestly upgraded from quarterback.
Oh, we did.
How can they go backwards?
Do you think Sanchez is better than Brock?
I'm not talking just Sanchez. We have 3 better options this year than we had 2 better options last year.
Brock Osweiler's not going to do good in Houston. I'll tell you that. I don't feel it.
I don't like Brock.
I don't feel
the defense regressions. Like, I can't prove this, but I think
he had a chance to step up and take that.
The last 4 years, it was all getting that Super Bowl Peyton. The defense, they got that Super Bowl. Like, they can be good, but there's not going to have that same mental edge.
A transition on offense. It's going to be.
He had a chance to step up with a Super Bowl team and take that job, and he couldn't do it. So how is it going to work in Houston? It's not. You went from the championship team to
a quarterback.
I also feel like
here we go with the excuses.
I also feel like in Houston, I think he's playing with a little less of a monkey on his back. Everybody knew Brock could have thrown 30 touchdowns and no picks. Peyton was starting the Super Bowl if they got there.
That's not.
I would have been willing to put my entire 401k on it.
But he then would have had the job for the next season. Doesn't even matter about that. They would have gave him the deal.
Denver knew what they saw.
They weren't giving him that much money off of what he did. He didn't do nothing to earn this fucking $70 million.
Maybe not, because they even said, which I don't know how much truth it was, but that Brock was bitter, and now he didn't earn it, but that Brock was bitter that he didn't start the Super Bowl. They said that, right? That was and then that's what led to him. You know what? I'm gonna go and sign in Houston. Even if Brock would have thrown 30 and he got set, I don't think he was.
Is he worth $72 million?
If Brock
that is the market for a quarterback.
If Brock Osweiler was in Denver and he threw, how many games did he start?
8, right?
If he threw 15 touchdowns, 2 picks, and was lighting it up, he'd be a Denver Bronco right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Denver saw what they had.
They would have had to extend him in the season, though, not after.
They were in negotiations in the offseason. They didn't want to give him that much money.
They weren't giving that guy that much money. Houston had they threw it at him right away.
But do you blame Houston for? Do you think it's a stupid move from Houston?
No, they reached, but they didn't need him. But they reached.
They spent way too much money.
Do you think he was better than anything they were going to find in the draft?
Yes. No, I think he's better. I think he's better than all the quarterbacks in the draft.
So who does?
Denver's got a light schedule.
Go through it.
Home versus Panthers.
Go through it. Let's say that's a tough one.
That's either way.
Where's the game?
It's home.
It's in Denver.
It's in Denver.
It's a Super Bowl.
It's
game.
Still.
It's either. I can go either way.
That's 50-50.
Could go either way.
That's gonna be.
I'm taking
we need to have a green room podcast before that game and after that game.
We should make like on air bets because I'm taking Carolina.
That's Thursday night, right?
I'm taking Denver at home.
September 8th.
That's a Thursday night game. That's
the opening game of the year.
Why are you guys confused about the setup of the opening night game?
The
same way every year.
I know it is.
But is there 2 games? But is there 2 games? Because remember last year they had a game at 8, they had a game at 10.
Oh, wait, sure that wasn't the Monday.
No, that's for Monday.
Oh,
Monday night.
Okay, yeah.
Next game is home versus Colts. They're giving that one.
That's a tough game, but I think we'll win.
We'll
win it.
The Colts have played. Actually, I think the Colts have a winning record against them in the last 3 or 4 years.
The Colts are tough.
The Colts play them tough. Andrew Luck plays them tough. That's another tough one. But they play their first 2 games of the season at home.
Yep.
That could hurt. That could hurt.
Could hurt or help.
It can help when it's against Carolina and Indy if you get those 2 right off. If you can win those 2 at home right off the bat,
that's a solid start.
It is, but even if you go 1-1, I mean it's not the end of the world, but it definitely hurts to start your first 2 games at home.
No, I think they'll start 1-1. They'll lose one of those 2. I think they'll lose to the Colts.
But when you look at your schedule and you see you have to play those 2 teams, and then you realize you get them at home.
Right, you'd rather play them at home.
You're not worried about when you're playing.
I think they're gonna lose to the Colts.
I think the Colts will beat them.
I think they may actually
handle.
I think they may actually handle Carolina. I think they're in Carolina's head. They
They're going to be in
Physically,
camp. Von Miller's in Cam's head big
They
time.
dominated.
Carolina's defense was good that game. Defense was fine.
Yeah.
The offense,
They
Cam,
absolutely
he didn't run the ball.
dominated
He
them.
ran the ball once or
Cam
twice
was
the whole
shook.
game.
But if you're playing
I love
Denver,
Cam.
if you're Indy,
But his guys did drop
and
some
you
passes
can't-
that were on
and
right,
you
that
can't
were
run
great
the ball.
passes.
Right.
But
does
like,
that changes the whole aspect of the game when you all of a sudden you can't run the ball. Carolina can run the ball. I don't think Indy can beat Denver.
No, they've beaten us plenty of times.
They have.
I know they have.
they're
They did it in the
solid.
playoffs.
They're solid
They've done
against-
it. They've
they're
done
solid
it in the
against-
I don't
regular
think
season.
they will.
For some reason, Andrew Luck shows up against Denver.
Right.
For some reason,
It's
he
weird,
does.
right?
But was
Something
that,
about
did
it.
that have
Right,
something to
right.
do with Peyton Manning being on the other side?
I don't think I think it's just
The
something
fact
about
that he
I
was
think he
he
plays
was the
them well.
Indy quarterback.
No, because even like just in sports, sometimes that just happens in sports in general. You just
Yeah,
there's
you
a certain
play them
team.
well,
For some
you play
reason,
well.
you just play that team well.
I think they lose. I think they. If you're gonna give them a 1-1 split, I think they lose to Carolina, beat
Okay.
Indy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No way.
I
I think
think,
Carolina's got revenge.
Carolina
but I
has
think
no
we all
confidence heading into that
are in
game.
agreement. They're gonna go 1-1, or
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're predicting. They could easily go 2-0.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
1-1.
But, okay, so go to 3.
Okay. At Cincinnati.
Win.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's
Not
tough.
at
That's a tough
Cincinnati.
game.
That's
Oh.
another tough game.
That's a very
Cincy.
tough game.
I think they
they
win
gotta
that
go
one.
with Cincy on that one.
That's a very tough game.
I think I
but
roll
they could
Denver.
beat Cincy. You know, it's like
They could definitely beat Cincinnati. But you know what?
That's tough.
Cincinnati has history of starting off slow.
Yeah, we could get them in their slow
Cincinnati
starts.
has history of starting slow, finishing hot, collapsing in the playoffs.
That's
That's
what-
what.
basically what they
Cincy's had
do.
a good record
What they
against
do.
Denver the last couple of years, though.
Two-
That's a tough game. 2-1.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I think they're gonna beat Cincinnati.
I think they're gonna beat Cincinnati.
That's 2-1. I'll give them.
And I think at that point, going
It'll
up
be
to
a good
week
game.
4,
that
I
the-
think teams are still gonna try to learn their
sick schedule.
learn Denver's offensive game plan.
That's gonna be the hardest opening schedule
with
in football.
Sanchez, because it's gonna be tough. They're not. Somebody ripped ass inside this room.
I'll bet it on blue.
Not me.
That's probably one of the dogs.
Yeah, it wasn't me. You'd hear it. It wouldn't keep it silent.
Mine would have exploded the fucking radio.
So we'll go to 4.
At Tampa.
That's a win.
That's
That's a win.
That's a win. Jameis Winston.
They'll
is
play
gonna
him
be
tough
good.
though. They'll play him tough, but that's a win.
Not a
Yeah,
question.
they probably like.
They'll handle them.
I think
They'll
they'll,
handle
I think they can play him tough
They'll
for a
handle.
half,
No, they'll handle Tampa Bay.
for a half, and then Denver pulls away in the second.
and then they're home versus the Falcons. And I think Atlanta's a mess.
That's a win. Atlanta's
A mess.
Yeah, that's a win.
nobody's worried about
Right
that.
now,
They got the superstar,
we're 4-1.
and then they got the superstar Julio, and then they still have Roddy White, don't they? Or they let him go?
I think
I think they let him go or
I
he
think
retired.
yeah.
retired.
I think White
They
retired.
got their one superstar with Julio, but like they can't get the ball. Like they can get the ball to him, but like the rest
Yeah,
of the team
they're
is
gonna
not
struggle.
doing it.
Matt
They're gonna
Ryan's gonna
struggle.
throw 3 picks a game.
They're gonna struggle.
What's the 5th? Wait, is that 5th? Their 5th game?
That's the 4th game.
Wait, 1, 2. That's the Falcons' the 5th game.
All right, what was the 6th game?
At the Chargers.
That's a win.
Yeah,
That's a-
we discussed,
That's a win!
We discussed this.
Chalk that one up!
Yeah.
Skip that week.
Home versus the Texans.
Brock's
Interesting.
return.
That
Interesting
Brock's,
game.
The
That's
return
still a
of
win, though.
Brock.
That's still a win, though.
I think they beat Houston.
What if?
That could be a tough one.
What if Lamar Miller really is that top 5 back in the league?
Lamar Miller's gonna be good. I think he'll have a good game against us, but that's
Brock
not
Osweiler
beating us. Come on.
is not a bum.
They could look like a Seattle.
They
He's
have
not a bum?
I don't think he's a bum. I think he's a good quarterback in the league.
I thought he looked good in some of the
I don't know
games
what
he
you guys are
played.
basing
He
this
just,
off of.
but they kept when he was playing last year and he was throwing picks and incompletions. A lot of them were off drop passes that were right there. He
Demarius
throws
Thomas
hard.
dropped a lot of balls last year.
He
Alright,
throws
we're not-
hard.
that's not- we're
Like
not-
he throws hard.
What are you basing Brock Osweiler off of?
That
Shitty
Denver
games he
defense is going to make sure for a fact that Brock Osweiler has the worst
They're gonna
game of his
punish
career.
Brock Osweiler.
Houston's defense isn't a pushover either.
No, I'm not saying anything against Houston's defense. I'm saying
I guarantee you, Von
what
Miller
that
sacks him
Denver
twice.
defense is going to do to Brock Osweiler, they're going to try and ruin
They're gonna
his
play him
day.
with a chip on it. They're gonna play him with an edge.
They're gonna, and because Denver's gonna want to prove this is why we let this guy
right.
go.
They're gonna prove to the world that he is what he is, and that's gonna be. He's gonna throw a couple picks. And they're gonna be all over him. That's
Yeah, like I'm not saying that Osweiler, he's going to be the next great thing. I don't think he's that bad though. He's definitely serviceable.
I didn't see
he's
it.
he's serviceable.
I don't think he's any better
Who
than
do you
Sanchez.
take on that game?
What? Houston and Denver.
Houston and Denver.
It's hard for me to pick against Denver. I'll take Denver.
I'm gonna take Houston.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna take Houston. Okay,
Go for it.
go to 6 there. Or that's 7. That was 6.
No.
That was 7.
That was 7.
Oh, 7?
That was 6.
Oh, was it 6?
No, 6 was the Chargers. We gave them that win.
That's
6 was
dope.
the Chargers.
Next game is it's another Chargers game.
Oh, that's another one.
You know,
That's
let's
dumb.
skip over that.
I don't
one.
think we worry
The
about
game
them.
after that though is Denver at Oakland.
I think we lose that game.
They-
we lose the one in Oakland.
They split with Oakland
They
and they
split
split
with
with Kansas City this year.
Because Oakland, they feel it.
They split
we
with
usually
themselves.
lose one of them. We'll lose one to Oakland.
Denver-
I think we in
That's that
Oakland.
rivalry game.
In Oakland one. We'll lose
Against
it.
Kansas City and Oakland, Denver will win the 2 home games and they'll lose the road games.
I agree on Oakland.
I think they beat Kansas City both
I
times.
think they're going to handle
Yeah,
Kansas City.
I'm not.
Kansas City is a dink and dunk. They are a chipping away team.
They've went down for me. I
And
think
they will
Oakland will above them.
absolutely. I think Denver will destroy them.
Yeah, they're not as good as I think a lot of people think they're gonna
Yeah,
be.
I don't think so either.
I think they're gonna finish 3rd in the division.
But I
do too, but I think I think those division games in Kansas City, I think they always play the Broncos tough.
Yeah, Arrowhead is hard to play in.
They play the Broncos tough.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, there's not many.
Do you
there's-
like Oakland there in that game?
Oakland, yeah, I'll take Oakland.
Oakland's gonna win the home one. They'll lose on the road in Denver.
Okay.
Actually, let me switch. I'm gonna go inverse. I'm gonna say Oakland wins in Denver. Denver wins in Oakland.
All right, so
Because I am gonna split.
Either
those
way,
two.
they split, so
Yeah,
they're getting
split.
a win and a loss somewhere.
Okay.
I think Oakland and Kansas City are really Denver's only few losses they're gonna have.
Right, we're not gonna lose.
They-
that.
like, I
Those
think
tough
Denver's,
division
like-
games.
well,
They haven't
were
even
4-4
played
last
Kansas
year.
City yet. And what are we in? Week 10?
I think Kansas City.
Yeah, they play Kansas City late.
I think Kansas City really could. I mean, there's a good chance they're good, but I wouldn't be surprised if they absolutely implode this year.
Yeah,
If
I
they
could
go
see it.
6-10 or 7-9.
I could see it.
Yeah, I
I
could
really,
see
I
that.
really wouldn't be
I could see
surprised.
that.
I can see
Because
them down here.
Oakland's better.
Right.
Denver's great, and Kansas City was up there ahead of Oakland and ahead of San Diego, and even with Denver there for a little while. And Oakland's gotten better, and Kansas City really has gotten worse. I just think Kansas City really does have they could implode.
And I'm not saying anything. Kansas City's gonna be great. They're gonna be bad. I'm just saying when they play Denver, they play them tough. It's a division game. They're gonna be late in the year in Arrowhead. I'm just saying there's a chance they split there.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
After the Oakland game, they go to New Orleans.
That's a win.
I think it'll be a tough
I
game.
give them a
I
tough
think
win.
we'll win it.
New Orleans' defense, though.
The New Orleans team
bad.
is not.
It's horrendous.
But
Let's
you
be
think they'll
honest.
be
But they're
Put a
going to
lot of
have to
points on the
score
road.
more than... Breeze is going to put up... On that game, I actually said he put up 30. But I think there's a good chance he puts up 24.
Yeah.
You took it
Yeah, but Denver-
right out of my head.
Denver-
Denver has to match that.
Denver could easily put up 37 on
But
them.
how confident are you of Denver putting a lot of points up consistently on the road?
Right. I'm that's
How's
the
the running
thing.
game? Who's the running backs again? Ronnie Hillman, right?
Ronnie Hillman.
Who else they got?
C.J. Anderson.
And C.J.
It can,
Anderson.
that can
Got a couple
that
horses back there.
that can be a tough game. That can be a tough.
If it was me, I would pick Denver.
Steven?
We don't have them with a lot of losses.
I don't think we lose that game.
I don't think they lose to the Saints. The Saints. What week is that, Jared?
You know, I'll take him with the Saints because I gotta pick more games for them to lose because I don't.
What week is that?
Don't even know. It's just telling me the date. It's in November 13th.
Okay, New Orleans will already be out of the playoff hunt by then, so they won't even have anything.
But when
to
you play the
for.
Super Bowl champs teams, always
True,
get
they'll
out of
step up. I
Right.
still think they lose.
Yeah.
Week 10 is the Saints game,
Okay.
or the 10th game. I don't know if their bye's already kicked in here.
Who's the
Who's
next,
the next
team?
one there?
Next game is Kansas City at Denver. To take Denver out of the Kansas City.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver wins at home.
Denver.
Kansas City isn't out shooting anybody.
No. They're gonna be sketchy.
Who's after that?
At Jacksonville.
That's a tough one, though. That
That's a tough
Jackson,
game.
there's a chance Jacksonville scores 40 points a game this year.
Jacksonville.
Are you with me now on Jacksonville potentially winning that division?
I think Jacksonville could shock us and take that.
I've been saying that for months.
They'll
I
take
their
think they'll be in
defense-
the race for 3/4 of the season, but
I
they'll
think
1-3 in the last 4
I
games.
still think Jacksonville is 1 year away.
Yep.
I think next year's the year where they win the division 10, 11 games. This year, I think they're 8, 9 wins. Houston gets 10
Listen
or
to this.
11.
I'm just going to go... People give Jacksonville the credit on offense, but I'm just going to go through their defense. And I want you to think about how young and talented it is, right? This could end up being that next Denver defense. They are stacked
Right,
with
and
young talent.
we've had this conversation, though. none of them have proven a thing yet.
Nobody
gotta prove
from
it
Denver
this
did
year.
when they got drafted. But it's my
Yeah, they were all, right out the gate. They were all good.
Fowler never got a chance.
Right,
Because he was injured.
Okay, they got Jared Odrick, who has been a decent lineman in the NFL.
He's good.
Malik Jackson,
They took from Denver.
another
A good
great
guy.
lineman. Roy Miller, another good lineman. Dante Fowler, we haven't seen him,
He's gonna be good.
but you're talking what? He was taken second overall.
Third.
He's gonna be
Third,
good.
and I think
think
he's
he's gonna be a
going to be
monster.
great. Then you got Miles Jack, who he took this year in the
year.
first round.
I like
Paul
him too.
Pusluzny, who's been
He's been a solid guy.
He's been a solid,
Consistent
reliable middle
linebacker.
linebacker.
A very good middle linebacker.
Okay, Telvin Smith, Penn State guy or no?
Sounds about right, but I don't know.
Devon House, which they got from Green Bay,
House,
decent corner. Jalen Ramsey, who they took,
I like
another
him, man. I love
young
that kid.
cornerback. Jonathan Cyprin, who they took in a first round a couple years ago,
Good safety.
and Tashawn Gibson.
Oh,
This
he's real good.
This is a defense who people aren't giving enough credit.
Right, they have all the potential.
That's right.
I
They
think
got Gibson.
I think when we go see this game, when we go see them play Texans in
That's gonna be a good game.
November, we're gonna see the start of dynasty football team here. They are young, talented, and they are great.
And a year
This
is
team-
still a year out.
I think they beat the Colts. I think they beat the Titans.
Yes, they won't.
They
I
can
don't
beat
think
the
they
Colts
finished
once.
ahead of Houston.
I think they win a division.
Yeah,
They
got the look
they're
up.
gonna.
They could be 7-5 through 12 games, but they'll finish 8-8.
Everybody's so sold on Houston. I'm not sold on Houston.
They
I'm
run-
not
I
either.
think they
I'm
run
not.
out
I'm not
gas
sold
at
on
some
Houston
You
to
give
be
them
any
10,
kind
11 games, man. No way.
They're
I see him
gonna
maybe
win the
getting
division.
9. I
They're
think
gonna
Jacksonville.
win
I think no. He's giving
Houston
11 wins.
Houston wins the division.
I think Jacksonville wins it with 10.
Jacksonville's a year
I
out.
give Jacksonville 9, and that's best case scenario. Like 8, I think 8 and 8 is.
I'm
I
not
think
sold
they're
on
an
Indy
8.
or
I think
Indy
they're
or
7,
Houston.
8, 9 win team.
Indy has
Yeah,
a
no,
good team.
they'll run out of gas in the end.
You know what?
Kind of like Tampa Bay did.
After we do Denver, we're gonna finish off here with Jacksonville and go through their
You want
schedule.
the Sanders? Okay.
Who's next over there with Denver?
All right, we got. They're at Tennessee. I don't think highly of Tennessee in any type of way.
No,
I don't either. They're
Who's
gonna
next?
run right through them.
Ooh, New England at Denver. New England.
Ooh.
Okay,
That's a
honestly.
tough game.
At Denver.
They don't play well in Denver.
They're not
don't-
good in
they
Denver.
suck in
We
Denver.
do not play well in Denver, so
If anybody has Brady's number,
And we
it's
don't.
Denver.
That's a tough game though.
it's Denver. I go Denver.
I would take Denver.
I'm going Denver.
That's a tough one though. That would be a sick game.
Nah, I'm gonna go with New England in this one. I'll take New England for this one.
If it was in New England, I would pick New England.
And then the next game, they are at Kansas City.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking-
I personally think they're running through. I know Brian's
I think they beat
taking
them
a
twice,
split.
both times.
Yeah, and the last game is Oakland. So whichever we
That's a
pick for the
split,
first game,
right.
switch it with the other one.
Right.
So this should be like 12-4.
I've got them
12-4, I would say.
12-4.
Which is why I said earlier they're 12, 13 win
12-4 is I think solid, and I think that'll win the
12 and
division.
4 will win.
Steven
Oakland
has
9 and
them.
10.
Steven, I think you have them 13-3.
13-3, 12-4.
I might have them 13-3.
One of those
I'd
two.
probably
No,
pick
oh, no,
you have them.
With
I have
more
them
wins
splitting
than
with
one.
Kansas City,
You have them 13-3.
splitting with Oakland, and I have them losing one of those first 3.
And Jared is with me at 12-4.
Which is exactly
Yeah,
I said.
I think more realistically they'd be like 11-5. I did like teams that got the Super Bowl, and Peyton Manning gone. Like Manning was almost the reason for that.
I think that I picked the team to beat them. That is going to be that surprise team to beat them. I think it's the Saints. I think.
No,
they
I
can
think
put
it'll
a
be
point.
Jacksonville.
Jackson.
Did I pick the
I didn't
did
pick
the Saints in
Jacksonville,
that
but
game?
they're yes.
Did I pick the Saints? Okay.
Yeah.
I think Jacksonville beats them. I think that's one of the games that they step
I'm
up
not
in.
even gonna lie to you. I think they annihilate the Saints.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Saints game
I
at
don't
all.
think the Saints game is even close.
Yeah, no.
The Saints defense is so bad.
Yeah, like as a team, they're not. But like I gotta pick them to lose some games. I think I went 12-4.
Right, they're not going to go
5.
15-1.
No,
nobody here. Nobody here.
No, right,
put
right,
that.
right, right, right.
Why
So,
even say that?
So they don't have to lose. They could go 15-1.
Yeah, but you're picking goofy games
But-
for them to lose just to pick games,
I only picked one.
and that's the game that
I think
no
this-
one's picking them to lose.
Something about Breeze. He's no pushover.
Week
He can
10,
score
the
points.
Saints are going to be well out of it.
They're gonna be like
They're
3
not,
and
It's not
7.
even going to matter. The Saints are going to pick in the top 10 of the draft this
Do
year.
you think that's going to stop Breeze from playing any harder than what he does?
No, but it's not going to matter.
Especially under his leadership.
That game's not even particularly close.
We're obviously not going to agree on that game. Let's go over to Jacksonville.
Okay.
Alright. I've got. Do you have theirs?
I got the
Okay.
schedule.
Okay.
Wait, how many games?
This is gonna be interesting.
Versus the Packers at home.
Lost.
First game. Yeah, they ain't beat
They're not beating the Packers.
Not beating Green
Then
Bay.
they
Not
go
in
to San
Green Bay.
Diego.
That's a win.
That's not. I'll go with the Jags.
That's one
but
of
that's
them.
not. It's not that easy to go on the road.
It's not
easy.
gonna. They're not gonna run them over, but they're gonna beat San Diego. San Diego's bad.
No
They
way.
could lose to
Not
San
a
Diego.
chance.
I actually think they could run over.
I don't think they lose. I don't think there's a. I really don't think. I think it's like a 98% chance.
Actually,
they
I'm
win.
going San Diego with that one.
San Diego.
Yep. So I got them starting 0-2. Then they're home versus the Ravens.
They're beat.
That's a hard game.
I'm giving them a win there.
That's a
I am
hard,
too.
hard
I'm
game.
chalking up a dub there.
I don't think that's that tough of a game.
All right, maybe Jacksonville will win this division now.
Are you starting them 0-3, or do you have them beat them, or do you have them beat Baltimore?
I say they'll beat Baltimore because they'll have to beat Baltimore.
Okay.
Right.
So he's got 1 and 2.
Then they're home versus the Colts.
That's a tough one.
I think they'll
they'll beat the Colts.
They split with the Colts.
They will go. I'll give them the home and homes.
I'm gonna split them. I'm gonna split home and home.
I
too.
would split them with the Colts.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they take them both. The Colts don't really have a great secondary outside of Davis.
I don't think the Colts are that good in general.
They're
Yeah,
not.
Andrew
I'm
Luck
not
hasn't
that high
really
on
shown
the
up.
Colts.
The Bills, when they played the Colts in the preseason a couple of days ago, they were like, "Oh, Buffalo's Pastures might be good because they went through the Colts," and I was like, "They're the Colts, though."
When is Andrew Luck gonna show up and
Right.
show us who he is?
When is he going to do
When's
it?
he
Well,
gonna-
he just had one bad year last year.
No,
He
he
was
hasn't
hurt,
been.
too.
He hasn't lived up to the hype that they put on him. Not even close.
I like.
But I
Every
think
year,
that-
it's this year. It's this
But
year.
I think the
He
team
throws a
building
ton.
as well is built around. His team's really not that good. If you break down the Colts, they're horrible at building teams.
I
They
think
don't
he's
draft
the
well.
leader.
They're horrible.
The Patriots suck.
I-
Ask
I-
Peyton
Tom
Manning.
Brady.
Ask Peyton Manning how that goes.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Luck is a leader. I think he can will a team.
I think he could too,
Peyton Manning won
but he
20
needs
games.
more than T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, no, he
That-
needs more.
That's all he's got.
The team
You think
around-
about the entire team. You talk about the
If you're
three names that pop out to you.
No, because they compared him to Brady and Manning. All these guys. Those guys make it work with anybody. Why can't Luck do it?
He was hurt last year.
Why is there
It's
so
true.
many excuses for this kid?
It's true.
He never
Yeah, but
does.
No, I
His
just
first like
used
2
one
or 3 years, he
excuse.
threw like 40 touchdowns.
He also threw like 36.
He hasn't
But
been
he throws
that-
like
I
20
think-
times a
And he
season.
turns the ball over way too much.
Turns
I
the ball
think-
over a lot.
I
Not
think
way too
Luck-
much. A lot.
And I know, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna compare Luck to a Hall of Famer, and I know that's dangerous, but I think Luck is more comparable to Brett Favre than what he
Yeah.
is to the
Yeah.
Peytons and the Bradys. He's a gunner. He's gonna throw the ball.
Turn it over a lot.
He's gonna try, but he's probably going to get a Super Bowl one year. It's probably going to happen. He's gonna get one, but
not
he's
Indianapolis
but
either.
he's
What-
never
what
going
they're
to be
saying there, they
considered
never
one of
will.
the best to ever play the game.
When
Not if
When
he's
is
in
he-
Indy.
when
Indy
is he getting
doesn't
a championship in Indy?
Indy never puts anybody.
They gotta build a whole
They had
defense.
Peyton
Yeah,
Manning.
they do have to build.
They
a
had
whole
Peyton Manning, and they never gave him a defense.
Sure.
They never
kept adding
really-
offense.
Yeah, but their defense now might be the
He
worst
could
they've
end up
had.
being the
It's
next
terrible.
Dan
That
Marino.
defense is
He could be the next
horrendous.
Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Made one Super Bowl.
I can see the Brett Favre comparison.
He's just a
Favre's
gunner.
good.
Yeah.
He makes some throws because he's a.
But he's
smart
gonna turn it
kid,
over a lot,
But
too.
he makes some throws that he probably knows he shouldn't do it, but he
Right.
does it anyway.
I could see it.
But at the end of the day, you almost have to live with it because
Yeah.
you think Green Bay was ever going to turn their back on Favre? He brought him a Super Bowl. He got him one.
Got to another one.
Exactly.
Got to another one.
Almost won. Like, that was a great game.
If Brett Favre wasn't Brett Favre, Minnesota would have been.
They would have won
beat
the
the
Super Bowl.
Saints.
That Minnesota team, that was the best team that year.
He made the
Minnesota was
worst
the best
throw
team.
I think I've ever seen. Across his body, across the field.
In a dome where he was
one
going to make
foot.
the damn kick.
It was bad.
What was it? Garrett Anderson was their kicker, right?
That was
Who's-
bad.
Morgan
But
Anderson?
that's
Well,
what
yeah.
But you
think that's
know
what it
that's what you're getting with Brett Favre.
So you live and die with it.
You live and die by that.
After the Colts.
At the Bears.
That's a win. The Bears are bad.
Oh, the Bears are fighting with the Chargers. and
Oh
the
yeah,
49ers.
the Bears are. The Bears are.
They're fighting
Between
for that
the
first pick.
Saints, Colts, Bears, they all have probably the worst defenses in the last 5 years.
Jared, who do you go with there?
Yeah, I'll give it to the Jags. I'm curious about how they'll play on the road.
They're still gonna put up points. That's
team's
the
tough.
thing. And I still think that their defense.
They're
is
gonna play
one
with
of
a chip
strong
on their
points.
on their shoulder
Right.
What kind of
Definitely.
shit?
because everybody thinks they're gonna be bad. And
Nobody's
they've been
talking
a
about
laughing stock of
Jacksonville.
the league for how many
No,
years?
For years.
They're gonna
Who?
now, the Jaguars.
Jacksonville.
They have a
they're-
big
yeah,
chip.
they have the big. They might have the biggest chip on their shoulder.
I think the front office over there, and I even think that head coach. I think when they're having their talks, I think they love it. I think they sit
Who's the
here and
coach there?
say,
Gus Bradley.
"Yeah."
He's
Yeah,
good.
that guy's phenomenal. That's a good coach.
I
right
think
there.
they sit here and say nobody's talking about.
And the best thing that
Get one for the
Sneak
Ducks.
up
the
on
best thing that Jacksonville has done was not jump ship on Bradley.
Keep him.
They kept him.
Yeah,
They
you gotta
built
keep
through
your
the
coach.
draft, and now look at you got Robinson, you got Hearns, you got Bortles, you got Yeldon, Ivory.
Ramsey,
that young
Fowler.
defense.
I like Ramsey.
That
man.
te-
It's a gator.
They stuck
Good.
with the coach through not good seasons, but they knew what they were building.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what a lot of teams don't do anymore.
It's true.
They would have dumped Bradley, and then you would have had a revolving door, and you would have never gotten anywhere.
true.
You would have had the talent, but you can't have a different coach every
It's true.
year.
All right, let's go on.
Next game, they are home versus the Raiders.
Ooh.
Nah.
Home versus Oakland.
Raiders.
I'm giving
Oh.
Jacksonville that game.
I'm gonna
I-
obviously go with Oakland as a Raider fan, but that's gonna be a very close game.
That can be a tough one. I think the Raiders are like not far
That's a
better
sick
built,
game.
but like they are
That's-
better, a little bit better in a lot of
That's a
areas.
fourth quarter game. Almost whoever has the ball, or
That's gonna be a sick game.
that's
Who
a
do you trust to make the throw in the fourth quarter? I think that's what that game
Carr.
Derek Carr.
I'll give it to Carr. He's gotten down.
Bortles talking about doing some dumb stuff. I've seen Bortles.
Yeah,
do
I've
some
seen
dumb
Bortles throw
stuff.
some. Derek Carr, I watched him. I
That's
watched
gonna be a good.
I
football
watched
game.
almost every Raider game last
game's
year.
gonna be
Carr
good.
throws. He does make some bad plays.
He makes some suspect
but he also.
plays.
But in that kind of game, I
He
think
does some suspect shit.
he'll make the right plays.
Well, what's giving you a reason about thinking like Jacksonville might be good this year? Now they put up points last year, but wasn't that towards the end of last year?
Yeah, they started to come on.
Because
later.
sometimes I look at like if a team puts up points towards the end of the year, that's the fighting for your job performance.
You see, I don't think it was, and I see what you're saying. I don't think it's fighting for jobs because I don't think anybody there was. Everybody on that team is 24, 20, 25 years old.
They're,
First, second
they're
round
stacked
picks.
on offense to be very good.
They were just Allen Robinson is going to be the next top tier receiver in this league.
They've just
That
spent the last
kid
few
is
seasons putting it
disgusting.
together.
Yeah,
That's what it's been.
Wow.
I'm high on Jacksonville.
Okay, so you're taking Oakland.
I'm gonna go Oakland in that one.
Brian's taking Oakland.
Of course.
Steven?
I'm taking Jacksonville.
The reason why I'm gonna take Jacksonville, okay, is because in Oakland, outside of Cooper, I think, and they still have some talent, but I think outside of Cooper,
And Walford at tight end.
if they could stop
No, I'm
Cooper,
worried about him.
I think they
Should be.
I think they have a
That's
chance.
That's the next guy.
Who do they have in the
Okay.
secondary?
Last year was his rookie
Jacksonville.
year.
And he didn't do
Ramsey
anything.
and
Caught 6
House.
touchdowns.
Oh yeah, Randy
Oh.
Ramsey's right.
And
I don't even
Cypher
hear about. I
at
don't even know his
safety.
name.
Okay.
He's a man.
You see, Brian, I
Ain't
think
Gronkowski.
if they can stop Cooper, I think they have a shot. Whereas if they can stop Robinson, I think Jacksonville may have more.
How-
Jacksonville has way more weapons.
How
So
is
that's why I'm
how
going
is Blake
Jacksonville.
Bortles against pressure?
Yeah,
Because he's gonna
his
get a
completion
whole heck
percentage-
of a lot of it that
You know
week.
what? I think Bortles is a lot like if you see some games, and I'll say it, I didn't watch every Jacksonville game, obviously that was on, but on some plays that I seen, he's got the Ben Roethlisberger in
does,
him.
he
That
does.
big breakaway.
always-
he extends that
He's
play.
been compared to
I like
Roethlisberger
it.
since he was in college.
I like it.
Well, ESPN's fantasy is projecting Bortles to have significantly less numbers than he did in 2015.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
because I was about to look at his stats for last year, and that was the first thing that came up.
I'm telling you right now,
Cat
if-
country.
you're gonna have Mac and
Yeah,
Irvin
see,
in
right,
his
Liz.
face all.
The date of that game.
Oakland's
Which one?
gonna
Oakland's
have
Jacksonville.
It's I think it's in October.
That's a mayor.
Oakland 10-23.
Who's after Oakland?
After Oakland, you got the Titans.
Win.
No, that's a win.
Yeah, at the Titans. I don't care about.
Yeah, it doesn't
They're
matter.
gonna
It
be
could be on
Tennessee both
Mars.
times.
That's a win. That's really
Next
true.
game's at the Chiefs.
That could be a
I'm
lot.
taking
tough-
the Chiefs in that one.
Where are they at Kansas City?
At
They
Kansas
lose
Oh,
that game.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
Kansas
They're
City.
not gonna win
there
at
are some
Arrowhead.
teams they are not good enough still to go
Arrowhead's
and beat.
Arrowhead's hard to
Especially
win.
in Arrowhead.
Yeah,
That's a
they're not
tough place to
beating
play
Kansas City,
football.
Okay.
Next game's home versus the Texans.
I think they
man.
split with Houston this year. That's my. So I don't care which way you put it. I think they
If you
split.
block
With
I
Houston.
think they'll split with
I might have to
Houston,
grab a ticket to this game.
Do it.
They're
Do it,
splitting,
Jared.
they're splitting with Houston.
I think
I
they
think
split
so,
with
too.
Houston. You can
Those will be tough
disagree or
games.
not. They split with them.
Okay. So
I'm
Whether
going
you want to
split,
go,
so-
they win it in
right.
road or home,
So,
whatever. You
I don't know where they're gonna win, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be split.
but I think it's a split.
Jared, do you think they're gonna split here?
Against Houston?
Yeah.
Do you think they split with
Or
them
do you
this
think they
year?
take them both? Or do you think they don't take any?
I'm taking Houston. I think Houston's taking both of them.
Both.
Okay,
Okay.
interesting.
Who's after Houston?
At the Lions.
It's a win.
Yeah, I'll give them one over the Lions.
I don't know.
I think Detroit plays them tough, but they're gonna beat them.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be. I think that's gonna be interesting because you have two similar quarterbacks. I think.
That'll be a good game. I think it won't be one of these little. It won't be a throwaway game.
Who's
Yeah.
after them there?
Game after that is at Buffalo. If any one of you honestly say that they go into Buffalo and win, Jacksonville beat them last year and it was terrible.
How good is Buffalo?
If Jacksonville goes in and Buffalo is as short-staffed as they are right now, they beat them.
Well, this is,
Without
I mean,
doubt.
what game? This is like game
That's
like
late.
11
That's
or 12.
yeah. Marcel
I'm thinking
Darius would be
Jacksonville.
back then.
I'm taking Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's
Where are they?
11th
They're
game
in.
of the season.
They're in Buffalo.
They're more
Reggie
talented.
Ragland's good. They're in Buffalo. Reggie
What-
Ragland's
what's
gonna
the
be
date?
gone. November 27th.
So there's a good chance there's 3 feet of snow.
Buffalo.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
taking
gonna be
Buffalo.
cold. It's gonna be cold.
I'm taking
I'm
Buffalo.
taking Jacksonville.
I think
still.
that high-powered offense gets taken down just a notch in the
Just
cold.
yeah, because Darius is gonna be back. Shaq Lawson might be back. He's missing at least the first 6 because of that shoulder surgery.
If you had said,
You're basing it off of whether there's gonna be snow or not.
no, I'm saying it's
I
gonna be
think
cold,
that's a
though.
ridiculous thing to say.
It's not when you're a team that plays in the
like,
But
winter
you can't-
weather.
you can't just base it off of that when it's not a guarantee.
Buffalo's a good team.
Alright, so
And
if
they
it doesn't
run the
snow, who
ball.
wins?
And they'll have Carlos Williams.
It's gonna be cold.
If it's a 45 degree, if somehow 45 degree, it's one of those weird
That's
days.
cold. That's freezing for them.
I still
that's,
think
that's
Buffalo.
Parka for
It's
them.
sunny and it's 35 degrees.
If the game was in Jacksonville, I'd pick the Jaguars. It's in Buffalo. I'm picking the
Because
I'm
it's
picking
cold.
Buffalo too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm-
okay.
It's gonna
I
slow
think
down
Buffalo
the
that
Because
team.
of the weather.
You know that's a factor.
No, you're
Yeah,
picking
but
it
you know
off of
what?
snow because you're
It's
picking
not-
off of snow.
It's
I'm
not
not
just
saying.
the
I'm
weather.
saying that was a joke. But it's gonna be cold there. Jacksonville's
Yeah.
not gonna play well
It's
with
not.
cold.
It's not
I'm not
just.
picking
It's
They're
not
not
just
going
the
into
weather.
Buffalo and they could beat Buffalo.
I don't think Buffalo's gonna be that good anyway. Buffalo's gonna be all
They got
decent.
everybody hurt. Like I really
At
wish
full
Reggie
strength, how
Ragland
good
was
is
playing
Buffalo?
this year.
Better than Jacksonville.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
No,
they have
no,
much
no,
talent.
At home.
Who's after Buffalo?
At home.
Home versus the Broncos.
Lost.
They're not
Who
going
do
to
we-
be.
oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. We
I already
did
picked
that.
Denver earlier, so I feel
That
lost.
defense is still going to be strong. Defense wins.
After Denver, they get Minnesota
Oh, I got
No,
Where is
Minnesota.
at home.
I don't care where they're
They're
playing.
home.
Minnesota.
I'm taking Minnesota.
Take it,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Minnesota's strong. They
I
are
like
strong.
Minnesota a lot.
all around.
All right. After Minnesota, they're at Houston, and we said that split.
I took split. Jared took 2.
I'm taking.
Houston, Texas.
After
George Bush gonna
Houston,
be at the game. You think they're gonna let him loose?
George Bush. There it is.
after Houston, they get Tennessee. I
Win.
think that's a win.
Yeah,
Tennessee's buns.
Yeah.
And then to cap off, they play at Indianapolis. I think I'm going to.
I already
give-
said I think they're gonna split with Indy.
I think I said split with Indy too.
I think I.
Some of them
I think
like
I
10 and
first
6
said
or
that
5.
they were gonna beat Indy both, but they're playing at Indy at the last week of the year.
That could be a tough game.
I think that's.
But
going-
neither one of them in the playoff
Both
race.
of them are gonna be tough divisional games.
Well, the first Indianapolis game they play is in London.
oh really? Oh,
Jacksonville-
that affects everything. though.
Jacksonville
I
plays
didn't
good in
know-
London.
I didn't know that.
Jacksonville plays in London every year.
Why are those two going to one?
Why does Jacksonville go to London every year?
Jacksonville
He must,
plays
that
London
dude
every
must
year.
have a deal going.
That's kind of like a home
Yeah,
game
he
for
does.
Jacksonville.
They're expected to play in London.
They got the people. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know how to cheer.
They're forcing London to be
They're
Jacksonville
gonna touch it,
Jaguar
they're
fans.
like, goal!
They're forcing London to be Jacksonville Jaguar fans.
So then, all right. So then to cap off, this is it. Jared has Jacksonville going 6-10.
Those games usually suck. in
Brian
London,
has Jacksonville going 8-8.
Which is about what I said they
Steven
would.
has them going 10-6.
which is about what I had them.
And I have them at 9-7.
I have them 10-6 winning a division. That's what I said earlier.
I don't think they win a division with those records.
Nah.
Obviously not 8-8.
Obviously not
Not
6
the
and
6
10.
and 10.
I don't think 9 wins it.
Listen.
10 might get them a tie. And
No,
then it's
10
a
wins
tiebreaker.
it. 10 wins
Listen.
it.
8-8. This could be the division.
No,
this
I
year
think
that
this
Oh,
division's
yeah.
won at 9 or 10.
8-8
9 or 10.
could win this division.
9 or 10 wins it. Not
gonna
9
be
and 8.
tough.
Not 8 and 8.
It's happened before.
Yeah, but not this. Not
I
this
think
year.
that's another where you gotta go. Depends on Houston's record.
Yeah, depends on Houston's record. All right, well,
Listen up.
that's it. Green Room caps off their first Real Sports podcast. It was a pleasure.
It was.
out.
I enjoyed my time.
Thank you,
And
Jared
people-
Darian.
That's right.
Shout out to
to
Jared,
Jared
the
Darian.
mailman.
Shout out to Jared. Shout out to Steven and Brian.
Our neighborhood
We
mailman.
deliver for you.
That's
We
it.
deliver
We
for
do
you.
it. All right.
Peace out.